Ladies and gentlemen, not much to say here. But I want to welcome you all to the greatest stream of all time. Welcome back to the 1980s. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the greatest broadcaster of the 1980s. I'm also the only broadcaster of the 1980s, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're here tonight on the greatest on-air experience there ever will be and there ever was. Ladies and gentlemen, my Thrashers, welcome. Thank you for all the kind words. I was in the zone, locked in, creating the greatest masterpiece of all time, up there with Beethoven and Mozart, but not quite there, but you know, up there, somewhere in the distance, somewhere in the. You can at least see the sunset from where I am. You know, it doesn't matter because we're in Miami, the heat of the night, baby, and it's time to rock. A little twang, a little sang, and a little what rhymes with Tony? What rhymes with those two words? I don't know, dude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know what matters? It's a Wednesday night, ladies and gentlemen, and we got Sarah Ryan, Iris 381, Vapor Vice, Chris's actor John Siri, Michelle S.
$1.99 and says not at all.
Crown Renee saying not at all to, you know, just everything. I mean, just everything. I don't even know what that was directed at, but let's just go with everything. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Crown Renee. Coming in like a bolt of lightning, as some might say. Crown Renee, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Whoa! Not sure what's happening right now. We got advertisements everywhere. Even Rikki Thrash himself gets advertisements. All right, a little sidetracked. Hold on. Gosh. Thought I paid for premium. What was going on here? Oh, that's this stream. Okay, that's great. Little inception going on here. Crazy. The world's upside down tonight. Listen, tonight's not going to be a very long stream, but I do want to take an opportunity All right, I'm getting distracted. Hold on. I'll be back. I'm coming. All right, I'm back. Feels good to be alive, baby. Listen, I gotta get up super early, man. I got some things that I gotta do tomorrow. Listen, but tonight we got one thing to focus on, and that is this hat, this Rikki Thrash hat that you can get at rikkythrash.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the sickest, the raddest, the most tubular merchandise in the game. I want you to head there right now, but don't leave the stream. Just, you know, close the tab or whatever you kids call it these days and head over to the store and grab some epic merch. Hey, or I'll find you. That's what I'm talking about, baby. What I'm talking about. All right. You guys are saying you have some hearing problems? Look, it sounds great on my end. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know, but maybe it's on your end. You might need to fix some of your technology that you got, okay? I don't know who's complaining about it, but it's certainly fantastic over here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining tonight. Vapor Vice, Joshua Fox. Joshua Fox, he asked, what keyboards do I have? You know, this is a Moog synthesizer, all right? True analog, nothing digital about it. Strictly 80s. Tell you what, it's incredible. It's incredible. Sounds great. You know, you can't get sounds like this.
Donated $1.99 and says, I think we've all seen better.
Woo! Crown Renee just wanting to get more analog sounds of the 80s and donating the $2 donation. Thank you very much, Crown Renee. I think we've all seen better. Crown Renee, I want you to get out of here right now. But not really. Like keep staying and donating, but like, you know, just do it quietly. Don't ever talk about my merch. It's the best in the business, ladies and gentlemen, and you know it. But the great thing is, the funniest thing is that the people who say that are the ones who love it the most. And it's just, you know, it's kind of funny, you know, because I caught Crown Renee saying the other day that, Rikki Thrash, you have the greatest hats of all time. And don't even get me started about the shirts, okay? She was like, oh, Rikki, listen, I went to your website and I bought like 7 shirts because they were so sick. They were so rad. And I wanted to get them in my hands so I could at least talk trash and pretend that I don't like them, but I secretly do, and sleep in them because they're that comfortable. That's really what Crown Renee's thinking right now. I don't, you know, it just, you know, it is what it is. Crown Renee coming in like a bolt of lightning with the attitude. Listen, Crown Renee, she'll be back. She always comes back. You know, she goes back to work and she's like, oh, Rikki, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna make you cry, so I'm gonna leave. Well, listen, here on the greatest stream of all time with your host, Rikki Thrash, the one who never cries and saves the city and fights for those who do cry. For a good reason. Of course, you know, I'm not gonna fight for those who are just freaking soft skin, all right? But I'm talking about the little kids that are crying because all hope is lost for rock and roll. I'm talking about those. I'm talking about the guys escaping from prison that shouldn't be on the streets, and the law needs rock hero. Well, there's only one man who can answer to a time in need such as that. And he goes by the name of Rock Hero. It's pretty fantastic if you ask me. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if tonight's going to be a long stream. Like I said earlier, I just, what I want to do, you know, so a company called IK Multimedia, great company. We've been working together for literally years. And they sent me a very special software, just like an absolute all-around super rad bundle. It's called Total Max Studio 5. And for those hardcore thrashers out there that follow me and follow Not physically follow me, because that'd be a little creepy. But those who keep up with me. Well, not physically, but like figuratively keep up with me and my media production. I made a commercial for this company, for this product. It's called Get Maxed, okay? Because that's what we do here on stream. We get maxed. We get absolutely jacked. And speaking of getting jacked, I just had a thought, but I just kind of lost it, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Kind of thinking to myself, right? Whoa. Kind of thinking to myself tonight, but I'm certainly not alone. We got 3 million viewers in the chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. Get your hands together, okay? Right now, I want to see the sunglasses emoji in the chat immediately before we start to go insane, because listen, 3 million viewers is not an all-time high, but it is up there. Okay, it is up there, and we're excited to be here tonight. Iris, welcome to the stream. Peace, love, sunshine, positivity, says Rock Hero. Look, there's only one man can answer to the call. I don't know. It just came to me. Tonight, we're lacking a little creativity, I'm not going to lie. But I told myself, I woke up earlier at 3 p.m. and I said, Rikki, you have to get out of bed and you have to go live to the greatest audience of all time. And that's exactly what we're doing tonight. Rain, snow, or shine, we're here. And I'm glad you're here, okay? Vapor Vice says, call the place Shredded Synths. That's a good idea. Connor Nelson is in the chat. I love that silence you just played. Silence is sometimes the greatest thing. As the great Yngwie Malmsteen once said, less is not more. And in this case, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So we're gonna move on. Crown Renee is back in the chat. I don't even have to read it yet.
Coming through quickly, responding and second him off LOL.
Also, Tony got my wiring all weird. Hold on. Hold on, pretty mama. Hold on. All right, we're gonna get a little Johnny Bravo in the chat tonight. Okay. Crown Renee says, first of all, at least I'm good at coming through quickly, responding, and second, I'm off. LOL. I don't even know what LOL means, but I'm assuming that it's some sort of lingo from the modern day. Doesn't matter. Crown Renee with the $5 donation. Are you kidding me? Crown Renee, the queen, is back. She's been a little quiet. She's been laying low, laying in the shadows lately, the last few streams, but she's back with a vengeance. Crown Renee, everybody welcome Crown Renee to the chat. It's good to be here tonight. Listen, we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna do a little music. We're gonna just literally wing it. It could be terrible. It could be the worst idea I've ever had, or it could be the greatest thing in the world. So I don't know. We're literally just gonna wing it. I think I'm gonna play something maybe like that, that chord progression. Only like a 30-second song, instrumental only. I'm not gonna belt it, with this little mic on my chest. We'll hit the studio for that part, but we're gonna do a 30-second instrumental, make it super rock, okay? And the thing about this Total Max Studio, okay, is that it comes with all the bells and whistles you need to bring back the 80s, okay? You got the drums, you got the keyboards, you got the synthesizer, you got the guitar, you got the bass, amps, you got the processed effects, you got the effects, you got the unprocessed effects. I don't even know what the difference is, but it doesn't matter because they got it. They got it, ladies and gentlemen. And you know who, and you know who else got it? And you know who else gets it? The greatest on-air broadcast streamer of all time, your host, Rikki Thrash. And we're gonna get it tonight with a little 80s rock and a little get maxed.
He has donated $1.99 and says Joe he could be a silent musician.
I could definitely be a silent musician. I'd be the greatest silent musician there was. I tell you that much. Crown Renee coming in like a bolt of lightning once again here in Miami Vice as I look over the Miami night sky in all of its colors. Sunset just happened a few hours ago. The sun goes down and the crime comes out. And that's where I step in, ladies and gentlemen. It's where I step in and create the greatest music of all time. So let's do it. We got it tonight, Joe. We got it. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of attitude we need. Okay? We all got it. We all got it. We need that. Okay? So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to get crazy. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to get crazy? I saw all the sunglasses emojis in the chat. I thank you very much for your participation. You get 5 stars out of your rating tonight. 5 out of 5. Thank you very much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move on to the next segment and proceed. And that right there, the most epic sounding piano of all time, is bundled in the Total Max Studio 5. I probably butchered that name, but it was, it's somewhere. It's something like that, okay? Anyways, all you need to know, I'm just gonna call it Get Maxed, okay? From here on out, it's Get Maxed, okay? Because that's what we're doing. We're getting maxed tonight, and I don't care who stops us. I need to calm down. Okay. Also, there's like a slight delay, so it's a little weird. Tony, I've been working with Tony. We are improving these streams like a madman, okay? And it's really something I recorded earlier.
Ford 103 has donated $10 and says there's no sound coming through when you play the keyboard. All we hear is the keys clacking.
Are you serious? This whole time? Good. Good. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, well, let me fix it. Oh, okay, that pisses me off. All right. Okay. You want to be that way today, Tony? Fine. We'll be that way. Also, thanks for the donation, Mr. Cage Crawford. Man, so that whole time you couldn't hear anything? Look, I'm rocking a new setup tonight, so it's a little different, but dang, okay. All right. At least you caught me early. We're just gonna start that whole thing over. Hold on.
The Crown Reedy has donated $1.99 and says you do get mad mail. I called it.
Okay, so you could hear the keyboard, but you couldn't hear the piano stacked on top of it. At least there was that. It's a little unfortunate. But Crown Renee says, you do get mad, LMAO. I like all these abbreviations that I don't know about. Listen, it's kind of crazy. But thank you for the donation. We're going to get this ironed out. Tony is getting fired, is what I always say. But he always finds a way to hang on. I don't, it's something... All right, y'all can hear that, right? You should. All right, you hear it now. Great, I can't believe that you just missed out on the greatest. Let me just do that again. All right, loud and clear. That, ladies and gentlemen, what you actually just heard was the greatest sounding piano that I've ever heard, coming from a software that Tony hooked us up with from 40 years in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing back technology, and we're utilizing this and making these streams as efficient as possible. And today is one of those days. Why I kind of hate that y'all missed that whole intro segment. Man, tell you what. Check. I tell you what, I promise you, if you would have heard what was in the intro, you would have been blown away. All right, that was just a sample. But that 15-minute intro that we just, did, so sick. All right, we're gonna make it a short stream. We're gonna go 30 more minutes, but we're gonna build the greatest song of all time, okay? And whether that takes 30 minutes or 3 hours, we're gonna do it, okay? Listen, you might be thinking, Rikki, you're not making any sense right now, okay? Well, listen, I don't have to make sense because this is my stream and I can do whatever the heck I want. I want to keep you on your toes, all right? That's what I do best. I like keeping people on their toes, ladies and gentlemen. It's what I do.
The Crown Rini has donated $4.99 and says for your milk in the wine glass. Milk addict.
Crown Rini, with your lovely donation of $5, I will be able to afford a gallon of milk next time I'm grocery shopping. But tonight, I actually do not have anything in my refrigerator, the thing they call a food storage cabinet in the cold. I don't know. Listen, but milk is a necessity. But tonight, you know, that's the thing. Like, I go all week without streaming, and then I turn it on for one day, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess it's time to go grocery shopping for milk because it's been a whole week, and I already drank all of it. But people like Crown Rini just always, just always. That's it. You're again. I'm keeping you on your toes, man. I'm keeping you on the ball of your feet, like you're about to sock somebody in the mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Full swing, all right. Left, right, jab, uppercut. I don't care. Look, I'll knock you out any day of the week. If you're a villain of Rock Hero, okay? Listen, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're all here and we're having a great time, okay? Luke says, play that tune again. All right, I have no problem doing that. Well, let's turn the mic off.
The Crown Rini has donated $1.99 and says all is well. Michelle's 904 has donated $5 and says spread money, haha.
And that is what I call majestic. Crown Renee with another donation. Michelle Isk coming in as fast as possible with that bread money. We got milk and bread on the menu, ladies and gentlemen. Yes! Now all I gotta save up for is some mac and cheese, baby. And then we're talking. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. We finally got all the sounds fixed. Listen, if you were here in the beginning, I mean, this is what I was playing the whole time. But Tony, our assistant, just didn't do his job, apparently. But that's all right. We got it worked out. And we're living life to the...
Crown Renee has donated $4.99 and says for extra cardboard pizza money.
Extra cardboard pizza. Listen, I love cardboard pizza, especially Chuck E. Cheese's. All right, they have the greatest cardboard pizza of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Crown Renee coming in like a bolt of lightning, blessing us with a little mozzarella cheese right on top. Thank you, Crown Renee, for being here. Thank you for a little cardboard pizza. And, yeah, I just, you know, it sucks that you guys didn't hear the beginning, but you know what? We got to move forward. I don't even remember what I played, really, without going back and looking at it. I mean, it was very similar, something very similar. There's a lot of guitar work, too, so...
$1.99 and says I mean frozen.
She says she means frozen. Oh, I love frozen pizza. Don't even get me started about that. Frozen pizza's the best. $2. Thank you very much, Crown Renee. You sure do know a lot about good food. All right, apparently. You know, suggesting frozen pizza. I mean, I tell you what, you have good taste. You have good taste. That's for sure. Put that button down. Okay. What do we do? Let's make a song. How about that? I mean, we're so far into this. I said I would only stream for an hour. It's been an hour. Listen. I like to keep you on your toes, all right? I did a little recording earlier just so I'd remember what I played. Let's see. A little rough. It was the first take, but yeah. Okay. I think we should build off of that. You know, unfortunately, I can't. So this big bundle that IK Multimedia gave me was I mean, literally, to your heart's desire, whatever plugin, whatever sound, whatever instrument that you could think of, they have it. But for some reason, Tony didn't do his job and didn't get it set up properly yet. So I can't use a couple different programs that they gave me, but we're gonna be rocking with Piano Verse, is what you're hearing right now. Beautiful sounds. I mean, if that isn't the most beautiful sound you've ever heard on this planet, then I'd like to know the other planets you've been to. Because, I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, if a sound could be gorgeous, it'd be this. I mean, it's insane, you know? And it sounds just like a vintage acoustic piano that they had in my day. In the 1980s, okay? The greatest decade of all time. And IK Multimedia is bringing back the 1980s along with myself. And together, I mean, we're going to rock the night away. That's for sure. I know that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay, that's the plan of attack. But listen, all right, we're gonna, you know, probably something a little piano driven, but I'm thinking that chord progression right there needs to be something. It needs to turn into a song. And right here, right now, you are witnessing me from the ground up, from scratch, okay, never been played before, building a song with the help of IK Multimedia's Total Studio 5.
$1.99 and says, shut up, I do have good taste besides frozen food.
Wait, Crown Renee. Shut up, I do have good taste besides frozen food. So you're telling me that you do not like frozen food? Is that what you're saying right now? Because that is absurd. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for the donation, by the way. But seriously, are you kidding me? Crown Renee, you gotta, I don't know, you know, 1 minute you're hot, 1 minute you're cold. I gotta get an image. You know, what does Crown Renee want? Does she want pizza? Does she want frozen pizza? Does she want pineapple on her pizza? Like, there's so many different avenues that you can take this situation, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's a very tricky scenario. Okay? It doesn't matter because we're making music. Beautiful. Man, I tell you what, IK Multimedia is putting out some great content. Go give them a follow and yeah, let's make some music. So, as I was saying, we got 4 different instruments that we're going to be using tonight. We're going to be using some virtual drums that were recorded in an actual real studio. Okay, we're going to be using the piano instrument that was recording in an actual studio. We're going to be using the guitar amp simulators. We're going to be using the bass amp simulators. And, you know, that's really all you need right there, okay? You got everything you need. And then on top of that, we got plugins. We got all kinds of stuff. We got reverbs, we got delays, we got all kinds of stuff, okay, in this whole bundle. So I'm excited to see what we can come up with, make it sound really cool from start to finish. Let's see if we can do it by 11 p.m. Let's see if we can knock everything out in 45 minutes. Let's go, okay? Done. Easy. 45 minutes to spare, okay? Anyways, okay. Let's go. Not a bead of sweat dropped from my face. That's what I was trying to say earlier, but I just couldn't find it, you know? It was there. I just couldn't find it. I don't really use that phrase very often. Anyways, I'm glad you guys are here. Welcome to the greatest stream of all time. I am the greatest streamer of all time, Rikki Thrash, your host, bringing back the 1980s. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, my name is Rikki Thrash, and I have traveled through time from the 1980s to 2025 and taken you back with me to my era, okay? Tony has hooked us up with the latest and greatest technology, okay, that you're looking at right here. And we are really doing something crazy, okay? The 1980s, the greatest decade, we cannot let them slide and fade away. We have to keep them strong. And I need your help, Thrashers. I need your help, okay? I need your help to keep the 80s alive. Crown Renee's with it.
And says, remember back when we played only up on your stream and told you I hate frozen pizza. Worst brain cells ever.
Worst brain cells ever? Are you saying you regret playing only up with me? That is crazy, okay? That was like 7 streams ago. I mean, the Thrashers know it. They were there. We all know it. Okay, but I didn't want to hear you say it twice. I didn't want to hear you say that you do not like frozen pizza, because that is absurd, okay? I mean, what's wrong with a little frozen pizza? It's, first of all, you don't eat it frozen, okay? You let it thaw, and then you cook it. Well, you don't thaw it and then cook it, but ultimately it thaws, right? You don't eat it frozen. So it's cooked pizza. You're not eating frozen pizza. And honestly, like, I think it tastes pretty good. Like, frozen or not. Even cold, you know? Whatever. It's a shame, Crown Renee, but thank you for the donation. Thank you for the $5 donation. The Queen, Crown Renee. We'll have to play Only Up sometime. I mean, you know, it's been a long time since I've raged from that game. Okay, I don't know how far you got without me, but probably not very far because I'm the best at that game. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, let's make some music. Okay. Let's see what we can come up with. So these are the drums I'm talking about. Sound really real. Hold on. Also, let me share my screen here. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. We're gonna do this live. We're gonna build a song from the ground up, and it's gonna be awesome. So this is great, because check this out. Oh, y'all don't see that. Dang it.
The Crown Renee has donated $1.99 and says I beat it.
You beat it? Are you kidding? Are you? Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Nope. Okay. Now you should see it. Crown Renee beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. No one wants to beat it, beat it. Show them how funky. Anyways, let's show them how funky these drums can get. Wait. There it is. I'm a jokester, all right? Not only am I the greatest streamer of the 1980s, 82 T-Top Camaro owner, but also a really funny guy. Yeah. Anyways, it's good to be alive. So these are the drums I'm looking at. It's called Moto Drum. All a part of the bundle, okay? All a part of the IK Multimedia bundle. It's super sick, super fun to work with. Sounds great, and you can change out. I mean, you can change out the snare. You can change it to. I think that sounds pretty good. So we're just gonna roll with that, you know? Keep everything else the same for now, just for ease of moving forward. Slight delay, just due to my computer almost exploding, but it doesn't matter. We'll sync it up in post, and but let's lay down the piano first and see what we can come up with. Perfect. So I'm going to need to record this to tempo. Okay, let's try it. try it again. 1, 2, 3. Let's try it one more time. I don't know where I'm going. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I don't know where I'm going. Also, I think it's too fast. Let's change the key. I mean the tempo. And I know I just went up, but just trying something. It's all about building from the ground up, ladies and gentlemen. You just got to try new things. Let's try that. This is live, all right? No judgment allowed. I'm just kidding. You can judge me all you want because I can take it. Sydney Walker better not be in the chat right now, I'll tell you that much. All right, here we go. Okay, we'll just loop that. We'll loop it because we're moving fast. And we gotta quantize it because, you know, my computer's gonna explode if I don't.
The Crown Rini has donated $4.99 and says the cloud part is gonna be the best thing witnessing you falling while raging. And I've been knowing a shortcut to not go on the portates.
She's got this figured out. The cloud part is gonna be the best thing witnessing you falling while raging, and I've been knowing a shortcut to not go on the portraits. Portates, as some people spell it. But that's incredible. That's good to know, Crown Rini. I'm glad you figured out the game and beat it and are just the best only up player in the world. We may have to hop online sometime and give it another go because, ladies and gentlemen, last time, after a little rage took us away, well, let's just say things got a little dirty. But tonight, it's going to be the opposite of dirty. Okay, so let's play a little drums. Thank you for the donation, Crown Rini. You're the best. You know, and you could either write these in, you could program them, or you could play them with a little bit of... You guys hear that delay? I'm just letting you know. It's not the program, it's just it's technology. But we're gonna work with it. So my drumming is gonna be a little sloppy, but it doesn't matter, so screw it. Let's go. This one's a little bit more responsive, so let's try it here. I like that better. Just getting it right, dialing it in, getting it perfect. We'll add some layers to that, but for the most part, hold on. All right, now to add a little bass guitar. Wait, I want to fix that little quantization mistake here. Perfect. Oh, not perfect. Boom. Loop that. Off to the races. Bass. Also, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce this. You know, it's a little sloppy, but whatever. I just got to get that pedal in there, because otherwise it won't listen. And then we'll loop this. We'll be off to the races for real. Boom. What happened here? Something ain't right. That's what happened.
The Crown Rini has donated $4.99 and says, sounds like a plan. I just gotta hook up my Wi-Fi after moving.
Oh yeah, baby! Crown Rini, where are you moving to? Thank you for the donation, Crown Rini. Where are you headed? All right, so another great thing about the Total Studio Max 5, Total Studio 5 Max, is that what it's called? Total Studio Max, oh, let me just look it up. Total Max Studio 5. Total Studio 5 Max. That's the word.
The Crown Rini has donated $1.99 and says, I already moved. I live in a house now.
Total Studio 5 Max. That's how you say it. Crown Rini moving up to the big leagues. Got a whole house to herself. That's awesome, Crown Rini. Congratulations. Do you like it? Are you glad you moved? Do you regret it instantly? How are you feeling about this recent move? Okay? Are you crying every day about it? Are you happy? Are you jumping for joy? Just frolicking around in the sunsets? Let me know your experience. Okay, so we're gonna look for IK Multimedia. We're gonna look for Amplitude 5 Stereo. I'm going to pull up a little Amplitude. This is all included in the bundle, ladies and gentlemen. Super awesome. So let's go with... since it's a bass, let's just pull up a random Input. All right, let's play around with the sound of the bass. Okay, immediately, I like the sound of that. So let's tune it first. All right, we are all tuned up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see what anybody's saying. Further away from me. Yeah, you're right, Joe. Let's see. How many illegals do you employ? 0. All right. Ain't no illegal aliens in here. Okay, that's for sure. Make sure it's tuned up to 11. I tell you what, that's the main goal of the night. We're gonna turn it up tonight, and we're gonna turn it up to 11. How much does the bundle cost? You know, I'm not sure. I think it's on sale right now, actually. So go check it out. Ed Webster says, I donate for real if I had the money. Ricky, I can't even afford to pay attention. I've got a crazy amount of Monopoly money, though. I'll take the Monopoly money. That's fine. That'll be accepted.
The Crown Rini has donated $4.99 and says, I don't like the fact there's a basement. Do not go down there after midnight. It's quiet. You'll be blasting music with no complaints.
Crown Rini going down there with a flashlight, and then the battery dies, and then it's just game over at that point. I mean, there's no turning back. You are done. You are done, son. Don't even think about it. All right, let's record some bass. Thank you for the donation. Listen, my donators, you're very generous. You do not have to donate anything, but I do appreciate it. It's what keeps me wanting to keep going and wanting to do these lives when I don't feel like it, you know? So, you know, today, again, I woke up at like 7 p.m. and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stream tonight, okay? Just because I love the Thrashers and they always hype me up and they always keep me going, all right? So, anyways, through all the pain and difficulties that we have during stream, it's worth it for you guys. So thank you for being here. You don't got to donate a dime, all right? It's completely free. I enjoy doing it. But based on your donations, it does give me a smile to think about it. And I'm able to afford the milk to support all these muscles, baby. That's what I'm talking about. The most shredded, ripped streamer there is. Tonight at 10:35 p.m. in Miami. In this apartment. In this penthouse, I should say. It ain't no apartment. Come on. It's for losers. Psh. Okay. Here we go. I don't know even what I'm going to play, but let's figure it out. Something like that, I don't know. Don't worry, it sounds boring right now after hearing it a few times, but that's kind of sick. Let's do that.
LRLKP has donated $20 Australian and says love the movie vibe. It's developing nicely.
Oh, trust me, we're getting somewhere. Oh, we got off there. I don't know what happened there. Oh yeah, a little, just slight. Yeah, I mean, definitely we're going 4/4 later, but you know, we're just doing 30 seconds worth. You know, we're not doing a whole song. But I kind of like the swing to it, personally. Love the moody vibe. It's developing nicely. Well, thank you, LRLKP. Thank you very much. Then we're going to add some snare. We're going to add all kinds of percussion on top, but, you know, patience. Patience. It's all about being patient and taking your time and creating what your mind and your heart says to create. Okay? Now it's time for the guitar. And then, you know, a little magic on top of that, and then we got 30 seconds worth, no time.
$4.99 and says basements just makes me feel like being watched. I am planning on making a bar down there.
Basements just make me, well, I tell you, Crown Rennie, I don't think you're alone, okay? There's many basements out there that danger lurks into. The danger lurks into all the basements of all time. I mean, I don't think there's one basement out there that's like sunshine and rainbows, okay? What happened to my guitar? It's almost like I smashed it with my bare hands. Not like my grizzly bear hands, but like my actual bare hands, you know what I mean? All right, let's wrap this up, man. I'm thinking Oh, shoot, it's already... Where'd the time go? Gosh, we got 20 minutes to figure this. All right. So we're going to duplicate this. We're going to go to Amplitude again. Also, it comes with Tonex, which is sick. But let's see. Amplitude is basically the chain. And then you can insert a Tonex amp model or profile into the chain. But here's a clips of Eric. In fact, hold on. Okay. That is not oh, first, let's tune. How about that? I mean, right off the bat, you know, it already sounds.
And says I'm gonna make sure the basement bar vibe make it less creepy, Michelle.
This basement bar is a whole conversation in itself. I mean, there's so many things to be said about this basement bar. I mean, you could add some fancy lights, you could add some posters, you could add some fancy wine glasses all over the place, some whiskey bottles everywhere. You know, it could be, you know, the sky is the limit to your vision, Crown Rennie. I tell you that much. Thank you for the $5 donation. But listen, I wish you the best of luck in creating the most epic basement bar of all time. I mean, that sounds sick. And we're gonna, you know, you're gonna have to invite us all over. All right, all Thrashers must experience this basement bar once it's done. Vaporfice says, stock plenty of whiskey and I'm there. I think we're all there, Vapor. I mean, right off the bat, I didn't even tweak any sounds, anything. Amplitude sounds good right off the bat. So let's maybe tweak a little bit, get a little bit more mids in there, and then we're gonna roll with that. And says it's gonna be a $50 entree. LOL. JK y'all are welcome for free. A $50 buy-in. I mean, there's so many presets. You can get lost. Or you can just start from scratch, you know? I'm trying to find a good one. Sounds a little... Oh, look at that delay. So yeah, there's delays, there's compressors, there's reverbs, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's literally unlimited. So I gotta find one that a little bright, but I mean, we could... Let's go with that. A little plexi.
YouTube autocorrects, but yet whiskey's also known as Jack Daniels all around nothing else.
Jack Daniels. For the Queen. I haven't chicken picking in a long time. It's been a while, but this guitar tone is pretty sick. I mean, it sounds very very AC/DC like, or just hard rock, you know. Sounds like my guitar needs a little tuning. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. It might not be a full production song, but we are going to change up the drums now that we're building some energy. We're going to go with something like this. You know, something like that. So we'll do that. We'll quantize it. Boom, boom. Close it. Cut it. Trim it. Play it. Whoa, something's not right. Something ain't right. Something's not right.
The Crown Rini has donated $4.99 and says thank you in fashion and get you an Uber or Lyft back to the hotel you are staying, haha.
What was that? Oh. All I heard was hotel you're staying at. I'm like, this ain't no hotel. This is a hotel? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Let's not quantize it then, you know? I think what I did, I was playing it a little too fast on the guitar, and then that threw my drumming off, up, same thing. Now let's just record that again, because I can't get it to also. Let's do that again. Got a little crazy there at the end, but I might cut out that last part. Get that in. Boom. Boom. Trim that. And loop it. And then we're also going to add a little reverb. To round this off, we're going to add something super sick. Actually, it's already, I added it earlier, but check this out. Okay, one of the plugins from this suite is literally it's Fame Studio Reverb. So at the iconic Fame Muscle Shoals Sound City studio, they went and tracked with high quality technology that they used to capture the sound of the Fame studio room. And so they were able to track that and get it in a digital format and allow you to use it in this software, which is super sick. So it's almost like recording in the legendary Studio A. It's pretty sick. So this is what it sounds like without it. And here is what it sounds like with it. And you can go Studio B. That sounds kind of cool. Studio C, Studio B Live. Plate. Chamber. Studio booths. I kind of like Studio B booths. Sounds kind of cool. So, actually, I'm gonna add a little stomp pedal. Just a little distortion pedal, little overdrive, little Satch overdrive. Let's solo around with that, but ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it. I'm gonna solo out of here like it's nobody's business. And look, that's all. I mean, there's a ton more that you can do with the Total Studio 5 Max, or whatever order those words are in. It's all the same. The only thing that matters, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're getting maxed tonight, okay? I'm gonna play you out. It's been a wonderful stream. Thank you for tagging along. Thank you for all the donations. And Crown Renee, you better believe we're gonna be crashing that basement bar before you know it. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. My Thrashers, it's been a wonderful Wednesday evening. I will see you next Wednesday at who knows what time, man. We change it up every time. It could be early in the day, it could be late at night, it could be at 3 a.m. Who knows? I saw someone coming in with a little donation earlier. Crown and E says, Rick, what do you think is a drive-by slapping better than hitting someone? You know, I don't know how to answer that. Rick, what do you think is a drive-by slapping better? All right, I need to go read my English book or whatever books you were reading. I don't know. Not sure if that's proper English or not, but.
Has donated $4.99 and says I'm still debating about being at the Vice City reunion for 2 days. Just don't know what days we'll be hitting there.
Look, it's gonna be the greatest time of all times. Okay, Crown and E, you better be down here, okay, and experience Vice City as it was in my day. Crown and E, thank you for those jumbling words that I don't know if it made sense or not, but I think what you meant to say was, what do you think is a great drive-by plan of attack? Slapping him in the face with your windows rolled down? Well, I'd say that get the job done. I'm not sure if I recommend it, unless you have a reason to, but look, to each their own. I'll see you down here in Miami soon, all right? Listen, my Thrashers, thank you for tuning in tonight, the greatest stream of all time. A little rock and roll and a little help. Bringing back the 80s from IK Multimedia. Thank you for hooking me up with some great technology, IK Multimedia. It's been fun playing around with all these plugins, and this is just scratching the surface, baby. I mean, there's so many things that I did not touch in here. But that's for you to find out. Get your Total 5 Max Studio and get Max today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you in the next one, all right? Until then, stay classy.